It's a story so big, the news is commercial-free. Tonight, the Target 12 investigators are fighting fraud. Target 12 has been exposing government waste for years.
But this 3-month investigation is one even we couldn't believe. Target 12 goes undercover again, this time tracking 4 state workers who are supposed to be looking out for your tax dollars.
They're fraud investigators, the very people paid to investigate unemployment and disability fraud, caught by our undercover unit, spending time on personal errands and R&R at home, all on the clock.
Let's get right to Target 12 investigator Tim White with details on an investigation that started with one of your tips.
The 4 fraud investigators worked at the Department of Labor and Training. Records show each made between $51,000 and $56,000 last year. Target 12 has learned the state police have already opened an investigation into possible criminal charges based on the findings you're about to see. Meet your state fraud and overpayment investigators. Their job, conduct investigations to root out unemployment fraud and phony temporary disability claims. A state division designed to protect your money from getting to dishonest people. Our undercover unit spent months tracking the movement of the entire unit. We begin with investigator Deborah Lombardi.
She's checking her mail.
We often found her spending the afternoons at home on the clock.
Left onto Garden Hills. Left on Garden Hill, I have it.
Other days we followed her as she ran errands. This video taken at 1:15. She leaves a grocery store with a child, stays home for an hour, heads to Dunkin' Donuts.
She's going shopping, Tim. We got her.
Then a trip to a department store. We wired up a Target 12 producer to find her making a purchase at the register.
Oh, here she comes.
You got bags?
Yep.
Another day, she leaves the office at 12:25, hits the grocery store again, then heads home until 3:30, just a half hour to quitting time. In all, Target 12 found her at home or on errands for 19 hours and 11 days of surveillance. That's more than 2 full workdays on personal time.
Let's go.
We asked to interview Lombardi. Our request was denied. Ms. Lombardi, Tim White from Channel 12. So we met up with her, leaving work.
On my investigations, I can't comment.
But your itineraries show you're not investigating. The itineraries I have right here, you say you're out doing an investigation, but we found you at home. How do you explain that?
Have a nice weekend.
Investigator David O'Brien. On this day, he leaves the office at 12:30, makes a quick stop at the dry cleaners, then heads home for the day. The very next day, he leaves the office at 12:35 and once again goes right home. Target 12 decides to stick around to find out if he ever reappears. He does.
Here we go, Nick. Here we go.
It's now 4:45. His shift for the state is done. We follow him here to Jackie's Galaxy restaurant in Cumberland. Once again, with a producer wired, we find him inside, tending bar. Same deal the very next day. Even though he's scheduled to work until 3:30, he's home at 2 and doesn't reappear until he heads to his second job. A short work day for the state, a second job behind the bar. Investigator Alan Bosworth. In just 4 days of surveillance, Target 12 found him at home or on errands for nearly 9 hours. This day, he left the office at 1:30, heads to the grocery store to shop.
Can you follow him?
Then, it's home for the day.
He's there.
Target 12 caught up with the final investigator, Clarabelle Torrero, doing her job. A field visit to a real estate office.
And here she comes. She's coming out.
Then we follow her all the way home, this day only 45 minutes early. But on 2 other days, we find Torrero arrives at home nearly 2 hours before her shift ends. She reemerges dressed casually and picks up 2 kids from soccer practice. Then it's home for the day. A similar scenario the day before. We asked the Department of Labor and Training for the timesheets and itineraries of all 4 members of the fraud unit. Lawyers here denied our request, but Target 12 got our hands on them anyway. The timesheets obtained by Target 12 confirm all 4 members were on the clock when they were out and about. Because their jobs take them on the road, the investigators are supposed to fill out these itineraries signed by the investigators show their supervisors where they're supposed to be and when. The itineraries obtained by Target 12 reveal a striking contradiction. On Monday, August 24th, Alan Bosworth signs an itinerary that tells his supervisors he's on Branch Ave in Providence at 2:30 in the afternoon.
All right, Tim, we're on him.
But our cameras show him nowhere near Providence. He's shopping at a Cranston supermarket.
Is that toilet paper?
Yep.
Again, a Warwick marketplace, bags in hand.
All right, here he comes with ice cream.
Then stopping to enjoy an ice cream before heading home early.
There he goes. There he goes up to the red door.
On Monday, September 14th, Deborah Lombardi's itinerary shows she's supposed to be on Howard Ave in Cranston at 2:30. We find her
in the house.
at home.
Yep, she's going straight.
She then hops in the car and heads to a meat market.
It's her, Tim.
Does she have anything?
Yes, she has groceries. Towards home. There she is.
Then home for the rest of the day. In all, with 21 days of surveillance, Target 12 found these workers at home or on errands for a total of 34 hours. Do the math. That's almost an entire work week.
Do you think they should have time to be at home?
No one who is on the clock should have time to be at home. No one. If you're being paid to work, you're paid to work.
Once again,
We showed our findings to Department of Labor and Training Director Sandra Powell.
If what I see on that tape is true, and if it represents people not working when they're actually on the clock, I'm outraged. I'm outraged both as a director and also as a citizen of Rhode Island and a state employee.
As it turns out, Powell says the department already had an investigation underway based on a tip they received. Now they're looking at changes to improve how they keep track of workers.
We have more that we need to do to make sure that the standards that we're held to, that we want to hold our employees to, we're meeting those standards. And to me, that is critically important.
All 4 workers have been placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the internal investigation. The fraud investigators were suspended before we got a chance to question the remaining 3. Live with the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
Tim, fascinating. But I think a lot of people want to know is whether or not these investigators, because they spent so much time on personal business, was there any work getting done? Were they investigating anything?
Yeah, well, that's one of the questions that we asked. I mean, especially right now with unemployment so high,
Right.
You would think that they would be unbelievably busy. We did examine the caseloads of the entire fraud unit for the past 3 years. Tomorrow at 6, I'll tell you what they've been doing, and I'll let you know if Director Powell thinks it's enough.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much. We'll look forward to that.